Hey, want to know some hacks to practice emotional intelligence? Let me share with you one-on-one EQ hacks in this following series called EQ Hacks Towards Emotional Wellbeing. Let me ask you a question. How are you feeling? This question is not just about nicety, right? About your status of mind, about in that moment, or about others. This is about a feeling, an emotion that you're carrying. Usually people tend to ask this question expecting only few words, or answer to this question only with few words like I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm pretty good, and all that. But usually if you see behind that fine, behind that good, there'll be many reasons to it. I've written an interesting blog. It's a funny blog where I've decoded this question called Hi, how are you? And what can be the possible answers, and what is the actual reasons behind it, what could be the reasons behind it. But not many people actually either intentionally ask that question to expect a feeling based answer, neither we would like to answer, reveal our status of mind to any others. Let me introduce myself. My name is Brindha Kalyanaraman. I'm a certified EQ consultant from an international organization based in US, and I've been practicing EQ for the last 4.5 years. I also carried few key responsibilities to spread EQ awareness as network leader for South India. Before I moved to US here right now, I'm a freedom entrepreneur. I run business based out of freedom, that is freedom from travel, freedom from time, freedom from stress. I don't have to necessarily travel anywhere. I can work from anywhere, literally, whether it's pandemic situation or it can be any other situations, whether I'm in India or here. So my business is as usual. So that is freedom entrepreneurship journey. I'm also a digital coach where I'm nurturing a small little community to help them achieve their freedom in life, freedom from stress, time, and debts. Now, coming back to this series, this is the series which is going to help you introduce to yourself to emotional intelligence, because so far neither it has been taught in our schools nor it has been taught in our families or any education platforms. So this is only so far has been theory. Apparently many statistics says that it is going to be a top sought out skills, top 10 skills, which is going to be the hottest skill for 21st century. And we are already looking out the need of the hour for this particular skills. Especially the pandemic has opened up turmoil of emotions within us, the fear and many things related to fear, and also anticipation about the future. Many people are also optimistic about the situations, but then everything is emotions, right? So so this is the series which is helping you introduce to that particular skill, which is most sought out skills. And this is the first step towards your self-awareness. Of course, emotional intelligence has 3 zones that we will work on it: self-awareness, self-management, and self-direction. And this is the first little step towards your self-awareness. This particular episode will talk to you about emotional literacy. That is, being fluent with emotions, talking emotion language, because human beings is full of emotions, mixed emotions, complex emotions, and emotions itself is a human experience. So we need to have a language for emotions so that we are able to converse and communicate both within ourselves and with others. And a person who gets fluent in emotions will be able to master themselves and will have a strong influence on others too. We'll see how all that is going to work slowly. But as we saw that, the basis of emotional literacy is because as a human being, we run a lot of emotions within ourselves. Some can be interpreted, some are very, very complex that we ourselves are not able to understand what it is, because it's a chemical reaction. Scientifically, brain where that emotion is created, especially the middle brain, which is the limbic brain, which creates the emotions. It's the core of emotions, which is flowing as a data throughout our body, and that every body organ or everywhere the body gives you a cue, and every cue is giving you a data about how to act on that emotion. And when that particular emotion is not addressed, it's going to leave traces, and that traces might become pattern impressions, and that impressions might become a series patterns, and that patterns can make you an autopilot person that builds you as a behavior, and you'll be labeled as this is how you will be. You cannot change, and you cannot be humble and willing to even change, because you are wired hard, and it takes a lot of time for you to rewire it. And that's how important is an emotion happening within you. And when you're dealing with such an intelligence, because we are dealing with emotion as an intelligence, and that is why it's called emotional intelligence. All right, now let me explain to you with a situation, so you will understand why what's happening within us during a particular event or a trigger. Okay, remember, you are the only person who can influence your own emotions, and if you're able to influence your emotions, you will be able to read the same in others, and you will definitely have a strong influence on others. But if you're not able to read your own emotions, you having a control over others, it's not congruent, it's not of reality. And that's why we are getting into the downward spiral of dip in relationship, dip in communication, dip in many other losses, creating many other losses. So it's starting with emotions, and we will see how this emotional fluency is going to help you get that influence. So typically, when you're fluent with emotions, there are two things which is happening. One, you're able to get a sense of a control over that emotion. Another one is you are immediately able to see that intensity of that feeling coming down. You will be able to tone down that feeling. So if it's anger, you will be able to tone down that to a frustration, or even down as an irritation, an annoyance, like that. You may not necessarily feel an irritation feeling itself as a anger feeling. Since we have not been taught feeling the labeling of the feelings, we will always feel that when we are irritated, we feel that we are always angry. So that is the literacy that we have got towards emotion so far. Anyway, we're going to educate ourselves here. Let me share an incident happened to me, and how did I start using this emotional fluency in my day-to-day life. Recently also, especially after the pandemic is announced, we have been virtual. My kid has a virtual classes in the morning time. My husband obviously has to log in, and I will also have my Indian customers based out of India, because I'm in US. I will have a time clash. So morning times are the busiest time. One day, it so happened that we got into a conversation, and it was supposed to explode. But then, immediately I was irritated, and then I was basically annoyed with an activity where something happened, the pattern something happened, and then I had to move away from that place. I came to my desk, work desk, and I took a paper and I started writing what is it I'm thinking, that about that event, the trigger. What was my thought? That an event had triggered a particular thought. So what was that thought? That is, I felt irritated because I looked at that particular thing coming up, and I felt irritated. So the irritation or annoyance is a feeling word there. And for me to act, I came out of that situation. I just, without uttering anything, I just came out of that place. So I acted as a flight response. Okay, I took flight response there, saying I didn't want to fight. I chose to move away from that place. So I took a paper and I started writing. So first thing is thought I wrote, and then the feeling that attached to that thought. And what are the options available for me to act on? So this kind of immediately toned down my annoyance. And then I started feeling, okay, you know what? The moment I had that pattern emerging from that person, I immediately told myself, you know what? I'm not going to work on this. Let me take a pause and I will come back. This is why I moved out of that place. So that few seconds of pause had helped me look into it and see what is the actual reason. And I found out that person is not at fault. Actually, the person is not at that fault. The fault was me recognizing that pattern, or me having a fear that pattern is going to emerge after that person. Probably it is not yet emerged, or the person is not yet shown that pattern. It can be anything. Apparently, that incident, that pattern did not come out of my husband. It's just that fear in me, that pattern would be coming out very soon if we had persisted, in the same situation. So that kind of triggered my feeling, that is annoyance. And immediately when I was able to take a pause and come down and write it in a paper, this is making me even more explicitly showing me the actual reality. That is, one, it gave me the power to take a pause. Second, it gave me the power to label the feeling. Immediately after I label the feeling, I have the ability to tame it also, because I saw my annoyance feeling, the intensity of annoyance or irritation coming down. That intensity coming down had given me an opportunity to look at the options, to look at who's basically at fault and what happened actually. So this seems a little bigger, little way to go process, but then it all happens in momentary, because your own brain will give you only 6 seconds for you to process that emotion, biologically, because a thought is creating that feeling, and that feeling is creating that emotion. So that emotion is flowing through all over your body. You can identify either through your muscles getting tightening, or jaw getting tightened, or head aches. Sometimes if you're nervous, then your gut and stomach area will be like a butterfly feeling. Your knees becoming weaker. These are some indications. If you're aligning to your physical cues, all these things are chemical reactions. And then it is a data which is giving you a feedback about that situation, that trigger, and even your action that you took there. So overall, what happened in that situation, especially when I took a pause, and when I had the ability to label the feeling, and I had the ability to tame that feeling. This is the fruit, or this is the result when you get emotionally fluent. So you need to be emotionally good. The vocabulary of emotions, finding out what emotions you're going through, you need to be really good. And I will be sharing all those resources. How do we build this emotional fluency in us? What are the tools and what are the resources available? What we can, easily put it into practice and start applying it. All that in the following series. I want to recap before I leave you. So first, we spoke about the importance of emotional fluency. And what does it give you? It gives you a sense of control over them, and it reduces the tonality, the intensity of that feeling. The third important thing is it also creates the ability for you to tame it. So when you're able to name it, you're also having the ability to tame it. I hope you will find this useful. And if you already found this useful, please leave a comment below and share your experience after you have applied this. I'll be more than happy to respond to you. I will see you in the next episode. If you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure you hit the button and stay tuned. Thank you. Bye-bye.